when I was in class 7. And that was a time when as I say, I fell in love for the first time. I fell in love with radio. I used to listen to my father, listen to the radio. He himself used to do shows on radio. My grandmother apparently used to do radio theater in Telugu in Delhi many years ago, which of course I had never heard. But maybe that Kira was somewhere in the genes, I really don't know. But I was fascinated with the fact that a voice could capture the attention of so many people at the same time, same day, every day for years, and people would come by appointment just to listen to that voice. So I grew up listening to All India Radio, and the ultimate thing in my life that I wanted to achieve was to say those words. This is All India Radio. The news read by C. Pallavi Rao. That is what I wanted to do. All through my school time, I never told any of my closest of buddies that that is what I wanted to do because they would laugh at me. Radio? What is radio? That is not a career. I'm talking about 30 years ago. So I did not tell anyone, but all through from class 7 till third year of college, every single day virtually, I would read out the front page of the newspaper aloud in front of the mirror with all punctuation, with all the correct pauses and intonation, stress. I was so obsessed with all of it that I used to actually read out the hoardings on the road. Whichever ads used to be there on the hoardings, I would read it aloud as if I would be, giving the voice for a radio or television ad. So it was all self-taught. Once I finished college, once I finished college and I had joined the school as a geography and a dramatics teacher. So drama runs in my blood. I can't do anything without being a little melodramatic in every possible way. Is when I started badgering my father, saying, "एक बार मुझे all India radio ले चलो. Tell them you have a daughter who will, do a good job." And he would refuse completely. Eventually, one day when I was howling and crying after my examinations were over, is when my mother also cajoled. My brother also said, "Take her once." And there, my father took me with him in the DTC bus. I sat promptly with my half a page resume to get and to walk through the All India Radio corridors. And he just dropped me there and he went off. He said, "That's the reception. Go there, check out what to do where. I'm not going to help you. From here, you're on your own." And I'm so thankful to him for that. That day, I was very nervous. I was livid at my father. How could you just, drop me at the bus stop and leave? But then I found my way. And interestingly, I became an English newsreader within 6 months. Sadly, my father did not stay back to listen to my voice on radio, but at least he got to know that I had got through. So now, my plan was that would be my ultimate ambition in life. Interestingly, that was the first thing I achieved. Now, when I tell you my story, it is not with the idea of apne muh mya mithu, self praise. Because when I'm telling you the story, I am actually forever intrigued with my own kahani. I never knew my life would pan in such a dramatic manner. So when I'm telling the story to you, listen to it uh, as a Hindi movie. So, cut to the next 8 or 10 years from after I finished college. Literally anything and everything I touched would turn into gold. Any audition I would go through, I would get through. I had done virtually every possible thing under the sun in Delhi as far as voice and presentation and communication is concerned. I had done radio ads, television ads. Um, I used to MC shows. At that time, we didn't have a digital platform; we had a virtual platform. So I used to MC New Year parties around things at a pub, launching a showroom, to English news reading with AIR, news reading with television, with ZTV, with Doordarshan, as an announcer, English, Hindi, you name it. And then I went on to become a radio jockey with Times FM, AIR, You name it, I did it all. When I was close around 30 years old is when I decided to get married. I said, okay, now I want to get married. So I went into jeevansathi.com, if you please, an online portal at that time, and I got a made to order guy. Height according to my choice, studies according to my choice, profession according to my choice, everything made to order. And that's how I got Rahul Nalvekar into my life, who's from Bombay. His and my story will be another speaker engagement with all of you as to how we met. But yes, to cut again quite a few number of years ahead, we got married after a lot of chatting on Yahoo Messenger. You won't even know about it. Now it's closed down. But yeah, so there was a time when we chatted, we got to know each other, we got married. And instead of me shifting to Bombay, because he's a Bombaya, as he says, I managed to convince him, या मैंने उसको धोखे से दिल्ली बुला लिया. And he's been here with me ever since 19 years. We were the it couple, you know, page three personality because I was a radio jock. I had a glamorous life, so to say. Private FM came. I joined Radio Mirchi, as I said again, a cakewalk, and everything was hunky dory. I used to work from morning till night, and we used to party at night. I forgot to mention that all those 8 and 9 years that I was from college onwards, I had joined St. Mary's as a geography and a dramatics teacher. So my life, my dincharya, my daily routine used to be 7 o'clock at the school bus stop, 2:30 back home from school. My mother would tell me, "Okay, you got a voiceover booking from here, there, this studio, that studio." I would take an auto, run around, finish everything, come back home for dinner, and then go back late night, around 2 o'clock at night, for a graveyard shift at AIR to read the news, and then back at 6:30 or maybe 4 o'clock in the morning to be at the bus stop at 7 o'clock in the morning. I did not say no to any work and I loved my job. Only thing is, I did not look after my body. I did not sleep. I ate only bread pakoras and patties and samosas and the horrible chai at each and every studio. They say that the way you look after your body for the first 20 years of your life is how the body will look after you for the next 20 years. Sadly, no one told me then, and I abused my body completely. Cut to private FM, pastry people, good house. We bought a house. We were living a life on EMIs, and then I wanted to have a baby. So they say ना ओम शांति ओम का वो डायलॉग कि कोई चीज जब आप शिद्दत से मांगो तो पूरी कायनात मिल जाती है क्या इकट्ठी हो जाती है ये किताबी बातें नहीं है. I'm a living example of that. There was a night when in the studio, I was so tired of all the number games that I asked someone. I said, I need a break from not radio jockeying because I love to talk to Delhi. That's what I am. You know, that's my being. But I don't want this number crunching, the surveys, this tension, pressure of performance. I said, I need a break. मुझे ऐसा कुछ करो कि मेरी नौकरी भी रहे, मेरा जो रेडियो जॉकिंग भी रहे, लेकिन एक ब्रेक मिल जाए. Now, I did not know that someone was actually listening to me in the studio that night. And he said, Tathastu. I got to know. And a month and a half later, one day when I was reading out, I was, singing a lullaby to him, is when I heard a slur. I freaked because how could I, me, someone who's only been talking and speaking and for as a profession, as a passion, did I just slur? Went to the doctor immediately. In fact, before that, so one is I started slurring. I couldn't complete one sentence without a slur. My facial muscles became weak. My tongue had no strength at all. I was unable to drink water, sip water. It would just go into the other pipe or it would come out of the nose. I couldn't chew. I couldn't swallow. Every time I would put something into my mouth, which used to be put in the mixie and churned so that it became pulpy, I had to put that into my mouth and take my chin up like that and concentrate, meditate, and then the food would go in. When I went to the doctor, he asked for the symptoms and he said it is myasthenia gravis after a test. I said, okay, what is that? He said it's an autoimmune disorder, a rare autoimmune disorder, and with medicines you'll be fine. I said, okay, give me the medicines, let me have it. Let's go on, move on with life because I've got a son to look after. I have to go home and feed him. He's like barely a month and a half, not even a month and a half. And I need to get back to my job. I was on medicines. The medicines did not help. The symptoms aggravated, they became bad, they became worse to the extent that eventually they said they'll have to remove the thymus gland from behind the rib cage, which is like an open heart surgery. Did I have a choice? No. So we went in for that with the promise from the thoracic surgeon, who was a big fan of Pallo on radio. I said, boss, whatever you do, just get this thing over and done with. I have to be back on air in January. He said, I need you to be there because I need to listen to you when I go back home from work. I said, fantastic. So there was, I got the thymectomy done. And as is routine, they did a biopsy. And guess what? The chosen one. So myasthenia gravis is sometimes, very rarely, accompanied by thymoma, which is a type of cancer. And guess what? I was a chosen one. So there was some radiation and some chemo, and chemo like kind of saps you of energy. But yeah, again, since we have only 20 minutes, I'll quickly run this up and tell you what happened out of that. So I had thymoma thrice. But in between that, I also ran the marathon for 2 years. 7 kilometers one day once and 21 kilometers the next time. We're already 6:18. I don't know how much time do we have. Okay, so that was there. And so, yeah, 2 times of marathon. But I think the biggest learning for me during all of that was that you need to look after your body like a temple, really. So even if you girls, you guys are studying hard, please study hard, but please make sure that you sleep well and you eat well. Please listen to what I'm saying. Please, no one should ever go through what happened to me. Yeah, the other thing that happened was not only did I have 3 times of thymoma, which meant the first surgery here, then one surgery beneath my left lung, where they had to cut part of the diaphragm, because of which I can't sleep at night without a non-intrusive ventilator every single night. Even as I'm speaking with you, I cannot, lie, sit back on the chair. I started gasping for breath. Followed by 1 year, 2015, 2016 is when I was struck by something called myasthenia crisis, which is uh, like a semi paralysis. So my fingers were not working, my thumbs were working, my left foot was dragging. I was unable to keep my neck straight. It would kept it kept falling off left, right, center, and I couldn't breathe. So you see, many people who get sick, they go to the doctor. There's some who get a little more sick, they go to the hospital and meet the doctor and come back. But I only go to the ICU, never anything less than that. And when I go to the ICU, I always go for this oxygen spa, if you please, always ventilator support, breathing support. So I say I'm going for a spa. But yes, in 2016 was when I got one of my biggest lessons in life. That of course I could no longer be a jock. Of course, I came back on radio once, but 18 minutes or 20 minutes is too less for me to tell you, about that. That I wanted to prove the doctor wrong, and I came back on Mirchi as a breakfast jock, but I couldn't sustain the show because it was too taxing on my voice. 2016-17, when I was there with the myasthenia crisis, is when I wrote a short story in the ICU because I saw a love story unfolding in front of me in the bed of this new patient who had walked in, and he was screaming and saying, Kamla, Kamla, Kamla ko bula do. And I saw this beautiful, lovely story there. And I wrote this WhatsApp message to my husband who was waiting downstairs. And he said, Orlik. I said, Dimag kharab hai. I'm in the ICU with, support. And he said, Nini, Orlik. And that is when I realized that every ICU bed had a fantastic love story. And me with my tuta puta English, whatever, I jotted it down. When I came back home, Rahul said, write a few more and next year we will launch the book launch in Apollo. I said, you're a madman. Again, lesson learned. Be careful about what you ask. Most of the times it'll come true. Year later, which is 2007, 18, I've lost track of the years also. Next year, I was back in the ICU, this time with a type 2 lung failure, where the doctor said 78 hours are crucial. And this I got to know just about a month ago when I was doing a podcast with my husband. And that is where he revealed this to me. I wasn't aware of it then. And the doctor said she is going to get a trichostomy done if she survives the 78 hours. Trichostomy is a hole that you put puncture here, and then you have a pipe from which you will be breathing for the rest of your life. Luckily, my neurologist, Dr. Suri, and Rahul asked for 4 days, saying, Dr. Suri said, let's give her 2 more days. Rahul said, give her 4 days. It's a birthday. I want to celebrate that. After that, we'll do this. Thoras said, the pulmonary doctor said, do whatever if she survives the 78 hours. I wasn't aware of this at all. One morning in the hospital, my nurse is giving me 2 chutiyas that day. She said, आज आपका birthday है ना तो आपको चुटिया बना रहे हैं. I had no idea. I was too fuzzy in the head because I was hyperventilating. I had carbon dioxide more in my system, so much more that I was hallucinating. I was I was in another world. And I suddenly saw Rahul with my son and a few friends come into the ICU. And Rian was not allowed in the hospital at all as a rule. So I was a little upset with Rahul and, with my mask and all. I said, what is this? Why is he here? And then I saw that in those 4 days, Rahul had converted those 6 to 8 stories that I had written into a book with all the spelling mistakes, all the grammatical errors, called the ICU Love Stories. I remember having signed it, but that is what it was. So here I was thinking that I would be the best radio jock of the country forever. I would do the best in the space of voice forever. But then what you plan is not what always happens. Yet, what we need to understand from my life and what I need to understand from the way my life panned out is that you shouldn't be so stringent about things. You should be passionate about stuff, but you should be okay with finding out what are the possibilities in the present situation. For a person who thought I was obsessed and possessed with the concept of voice, for that person to lose a voice, I went on to become a producer with Radio Mirchi. I went on to head the CSR division for years. I retired from I quit Mirchi a few months ago to join another place as a content head. Let's up. And now, thanks to COVID, sadly, I'm doing what I wanted to all my life. I'm doing a podcast. Can you imagine? So there is no pressure, no number pressure. I have a makeshift studio here, which was a washing machine area, which I've converted into a makeshift studio. And I'm doing a podcast called Can Inspire, where I'm talking to people who have more or less walked the same life journey like mine, and we share it with everyone to make sure that others do not make the same mistake as we did. So, yeah, when best plans fail, remember there's always a way out. Always. I think I have just managed to complete it in time. So, any questions, anyone? Anything with this dramatic story?
No,
Or I've been telling it.
ma'am, you have time till 6:40.
Oh, I have.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can keep
I
now.
just. Okay. So yeah, I kind of put everything together perspective may too early. I think to finish it off a little too early. So anyone who has a question, and then I can just tell you a little more about that. Anyone?
Ma'am, I think they're all dropping like positive feedback in the comment section, so you can just go through that.
Okay,
And if
okay,
anyone
okay.
has any questions, also I think they can ask it in the Q&A section.
Yay, thank you so much for the podcast. This thing. It was a good suggestion to grab some popcorn. Correct. Okay, since we have time, I will tell you a life lesson. So, out of this entire story that I've told you, I'll just tell you a few because people keep saying that you're such a source of inspiration. I'm like, बख्श तो मुझे मैं inspiration नहीं हूँ. I'm just living life the way I want to, in the sense. So people ask me a number of times, what is it that makes you tick? So I, frankly speaking, did not have an answer to that for years. But then when I sat down to think about it, I think it was greed and stubbornness. I'll explain. Greed, that I wanted to be around a little longer, and इतनी जल्दी मुझे नहीं जाना. FOMO, fear of missing out. If Rahul and Rian and my mother and my brother are going to be enjoying bloody life, why should I miss out on anything? That was one. And stubbornness, when someone tells me कि ये नहीं हो सकता, अंदर एक ऐसे कीड़ा मेरा खलबला जाता है कि इसको तो मैं प्रूव करूंगी गलत. So sometimes it is good, sometimes it might not be that great being stubborn. But the day the ENT, he said, you will not be able to go back on air because your left vocal cord is paralyzed. I said, how did this vocal cord get paralyzed in this entire scheme of things of myasthenia gravis and the surgery? So he said, sometimes during the surgery, to remove the cancerous cells, the surgeon has to take a decision on the operating table. So they might have scratched the left vocal cord in order to remove. So I did not question that because, interestingly, I never questioned why me during that time. You know, a radio jock losing a voice, what nonsense. I never questioned that. Two reasons. One, because I thought, life में कहीं ना कुछ मार पड़ती है. So maybe this is my part and I'll, get over and done with it and move forward. And second was, I didn't want to believe it. But when he said you can't go back on air, I said, hello, you know who I am? Ego, ahankar. I said, जैसे ना जानते हो मेरा बाप कौन है? So the same way I said, how can you say that? Don't you know who I am? I'm a radio jockey. I'm the jock from Mirchi. So he said, yeah, whatever. Now you can become a producer. He didn't have time to listen to my natak. And when I stepped out, my mother was pulling out the wheelchair that day from the room. And I looked up at her and said, how dare a doctor not give hope to a patient? How dare he say, I'll never be able? So my mom said, Shant. I said, I'm going to prove him wrong. I am going to prove him wrong. And my mother is saying, Shant, Gadadhari Bhim, Shant. I went home and I called Pawan. Pawan is my yoga guru. He's younger than me, but he's my guru. I called him. He came home and he said something which till date gives me goosebumps and has helped me tide through so many things in life. He said, how is it that the doctor told you that your left vocal cord is paralyzed? How is it that he did not tell you that your right vocal cord is working? So don't worry, don't worry. We're going to work on the right vocal cord, strengthen it much more so that it compensates for the left. Now imagine if you put this learning in so many aspects of your life. I'll give you another learning that I learned, that I got. The day the doctor told me that it is thymoma, I was in complete denial. Like, मेरी surgery होगी, मुझे घर जाना है. So when the doctor said it is thymoma, so I said, what is thymoma? It's not cancer. And he said, of course it is. Okay. Now, how do I break this news to my family? Because the doctor came and told only me when no one was around. Drama queen that I am. So I called up Rahul. I said, Rahul, आज अपना काम खत्म करके एक बार रात को हॉस्पिटल पक्का आना, कुछ बात करनी है, कुछ बात बतानी है. He said, अच्छा ठीक है, आ जाऊंगा. So he had a very important client meeting or some very important thing that day. He came to the hospital around 11:30 or 12 at night. and I made him sit on the bed. Bhumika, माहौल बना रही थी Hindi filmy style. And I told him, Rahul, the doctor had come this evening and he said, Fala, 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 thymoma. I said, what is that? I said, I'm putting a hand on his, elbow and saying, it's a type of cancer, Rahul. You know what his reaction was? And till then, for those 5, 6 hours, I was shit. I sorry, I was nervous. I was spaced out completely. And the first thing he said was, okay, next क्या करना है? Doctor ने बताया next step क्या है? And suddenly I felt all the tension just go out of my shoulders. I said, actually, अब तो यही करना है. We don't know what to do. Whatever the doctor tells us, we'll have to go ahead with that. So that was another lesson that no point in thinking पहले क्या हुआ और आगे क्या होना है, अभी क्या करना है वो decide करो. अभी एक situation है, अभी एक issue है, एक problem है. How do we deal with that? Another thing that I learned, the power of now, enjoy what is there today, appreciate what is there today. So after my chemos, I used to be like, okay, chemo has horrible side effects. Nausea is just one of them. Depression, sadness, weight, your system going for a toss, tummy going, nothing is right basically. And of course, you're feeling like Meena Kumari. You guys won't even know who Meena Kumari is. She was a tragedy queen of the Hindi film industry. So you feel like that, ki main bichari. And during one of the chemos, while we were in the hospital, my dear Rahul, my husband, comes in and asks the doctor, Doctor, is it okay if I take her for a trip? If I take her outside? So you have a gap of about 10 days, 12 days between two chemos or whatever. So doctor said, of course you can. So he said, where will you take her? So he said, you tell me. So Shimla Vimla le jao. And I'm giving Rahul those, horrible looks because ek to chemo steroids ki wajah se your eyes are as it is puffy and they're like coming out like jutting out like that. So I said, are you mad? You're going to take me to Shimla? One between chemos, you take me for a holiday. Who does that? Whoever has ever done that? One. Two, I hate the mountains because I love the mountains, but I can't breathe there. So mountains is not my idea of a holiday also. And that conversation got over there. The next chemo cycle it got over, and after whatever that particular day, he came home one day with a Apollo ka lifafa in hand, and Rahul's sister and her daughter were here to look after me. And he now look at this. 6:30 in the evening he comes and he says, pack your bag, pack your bags. He told the kids to pack their swimming trunks and all. And I'm like, what? He said, we're going on a holiday. I said, we're going to Shimla. Are you mad? He said, no, we're not going to Shimla. And he hands me that envelope and I see tickets to Thailand. I was livid at him. How dare he do something like that? I had no strength to even go up till the washroom. I used to take help from people at home to go to the washroom. You understand? And he's taking me to Thailand. Listen to this. 6:30 he tells me that we have to leave home at 10:30 in the night. So 4 hours from now we're leaving for the airport. I started, well, I don't scream, but I was livid at him. I said, do you know I have a chemo port attached here? If I walk through what is that security, that thing, that darwaza, whatever thing, it's going to beep. You need a certificate from the doctor that I'm wearing a chemo port. He said, what do you think this is? He had taken permission the entire day he was at Apollo. He took permission from the doctor, got the certificate. 6:30, I was livid at him. 7:30, I was packing my bags, and with Ruhi, I was putting a blue nail paint on my fingers, on my toes, whatever. 10:30, we left for the airport. 5 days, I felt no, I felt not even a single side effect of chemo. I did every possible thing apart from the parachuting or the paragliding, whatever. I went to a beach. I had prawns. I had, things that I couldn't eat here, and I was puking all the time. I had 5 days of fantastic holiday. Interestingly, the moment I came back to Delhi, the symptoms came back. So, as Rahul says, and as you all will read in various self help books as you grow up, is that it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. How is it that you can do such a thing? 5 days I completely forgot. Hmm. So, yeah, these are lessons that you keep getting. Another huge lesson of what the power of the mind is. After my first stint with Thymoma, where I had a radiation and a chemo, and as I told you, the surgery and everything, Pavan came into my life and I strengthened my voice. I went back on air, then got back on, got off air. Is when Rahul used to go for his marathon training at Nehru Park with Reebok. Reebok used to do a free training for the this thing. So one day I said, "Let me come with you. You do your running, shunning. I'll take my mat and I'll do pranayam in khule asman ke tale." He said, "Fine." I went there and we met another mad woman. She's called Shiba, and she said, "Oh, come, come, you also come jog a little." I said, "Bakste mujhe. I walk only in a mall when there's a controlled environment. I will start huffing, puffing, I'll fall down." That woman made me walk 3.75 kilometers that day. I didn't say no because मुझे शर्म आ रही थी 20 लोगों के सामने क्या मना करूं. That year I ran 7. Next year, thanks to Rahul, I did 21 kilometers of the marathon. And he kept saying, "Don't stop, it's all in the mind." I said, "Kaun ke niche lagaungi, all in the mind." But actually it was. I finished the marathon with him. I told him, "Teri timing bhi kharab ho rahi hai, you go aage." He said, "No, I'll go with you." And we finished the marathon when the marathon was over and log, सड़क की सफाइयां कर रहे थे. But we finished it. I have a photograph to prove it. So yeah, it's all in the mind. Everything. So these are the learnings.
Ma'am, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we actually, like our next slot got freed up. So if you actually want to talk more, you do have more time.
Damn.
I think ma'am got disconnected. Can everyone just wait for a few minutes? Hopefully she'll join back. Can I just request, I'm so sorry to do this, but can I request everyone to go back to the main page and reload? The session timings have just got updated. So you have to go back to the main E2M page and reload. Thank you.